Translating the Niphal, passive. So the passive is one of the options, one way that you can translate the Niphal, and this occurs for verbs that occur in the cal as an active. The Niphal is its passive. An example is kavar. This means he buried, so to bury. This, because it's perfect, we'll translate it as he buried. Okay. Now, if we put it into the Niphal and we translate it as the passive, which is legitimate, again, it's your context that's going to tell you this, whether you translate it as a passive or not. But he was buried. Here it's active. He is burying someone else or something else. There's an object out here. Here the subject, he, is receiving the action. He was buried. Here the subject is doing the action. Here the subject is receiving the action. Kavar, nikbar. So the Niphal is the passive of the cal. Another example, katav, he wrote. Very common word. He wrote. He wrote what? Well, he wrote something out here, presumably. Niktav. Now here we probably want to use the imperfect. Not to say he was written, because people don't get written, generally. So this is just a function of the meaning of the verb. It was written. Written. So again, we have an active form here in the cal. He wrote the book. Here we have a passive form. If we had a subject here, say the book. The book was written. The book itself, or the words, are receiving the action. So another passive form. Here we have patach. He opened. He opened. And down here, niftach. Again, let's go impersonal because people don't generally get opened unless we're talking surgery or something. So it, maybe the gate or something, it was, yikes, it was opened. Now, there's another way to translate this. Well, first of all, here we have it as an active. He opened something else. The subject is doing the action. Here the subject, the gate or the jar or whatever, is receiving the action. It was opened. But you can also translate the Niphal as it was open. Now, what is the difference between it was opened and it was open? In it was opened, the true passive, the subject, the it or the jar or the book or the gate or whatever, is receiving action, right? It's being acted upon. It was opened. Here, the agent that is doing the action, well, no action is really talked about. It was open is simply describing its state. It's not talking about when it was open. In fact, maybe it was always open. Who knows? This could be called a resultative. It's similar to a passive, a little different. Passive receives the action. Resultative is simply like a stative. It's just declaring what its current state is. It's open. So that's another way to translate a Niphal. So slight difference there. Again, pay attention to your context. Don't get enslaved to a particular paradigm for how you're going to translate things. Look up your words, like patach. Look it up in a good lexicon, and it'll give you options. And it'll also give verses, so maybe your verse that you're looking at is going to be there, and then you'll know exactly how at least the people who wrote the lexicon translated it. So slight difference there. I think that's it. Yeah. Okay. So that's what we have for passive. In the cal, verbs in the cal that are active, subject is doing something, doing the action. Often the Niphal will be its passive, where the subject is now receiving the action.